Here we have a situation where we are verifying the quality of the socks, wool socks, in an experiment that focuses on how to react to submersing your feet. When you break through the ice and fill your footwear full of water, you will find that if you leave your footwear on, you are courting disaster. You're likely going to get either very cold or frozen feet. And the solution, contrary to some normal way of thinking, is to take your outer footwear off and walk in your socks. You won't need to take immediate steps because you'll let the snow do the work for you initially, so you don't have to light a fire and start drying out your feet. And a matter of fact, the colder the weather, the better this idea works, and the worse it is should you leave your footwear on. We have taken off our outer footwear and we have two pairs of wool socks. These are 30% mohair and 70% wool, and we want to verify for sure that these will act like normal pure wool. You'll find that socks must be wool. Oh, that initial cold as it hits your feet. You can see the ice water here, and we're submersing our foot completely wet, getting the full benefit of the bitter cold, as if we had stepped through and filled our moccasins, our dry cold footwear completely wet. There we have, completely soaked. Now generally, even in the springtime when there isn't severe freezing conditions, you improve your condition considerably by getting rid of the outer footwear so that the water in your socks begins to squish out. If your socks are not wool, this experiment will fail outright, and you're courting frozen feet or very, very cold feet, depending on the weather. Now, if the snow conditions are fairly deep, the water that's in your socks is going to get blotted out. It's a little late to be doing this experiment when you are in a survival episode. You should get yourself a pail of water on a cold day, go out the front door, stick your foot in the pail of water or both feet, go for a walk. If things get out of hand, run back to your shelter. You will find then that the explanation that tries to make this clear verbally will manifest itself by experiment. So you'll be able to verify exactly what happens, and you'll know what to expect when you are ever confronted with the real thing. Now, we find that the wool socks that we have here, we've been testing them for some time. They are made by custom woolen mills from Carstairs. They are of a fine weave. I've been trying to wear these socks out for some time. Of the countless socks that I've worn out in my life, I'm very impressed with the durability of these socks, and the sock is definitely fulfills the requirements with regard to reacting to submersion of the feet. The custom woolen mill socks are well designed, and wearing 2 or 3 pair of these socks, you're likely able to encounter and deal effectively with any submersion emergency. The water that's in contact with your feet will warm up, and your socks, if they are wool, will begin to act like a form of wetsuit. And if you walk through the snow and your snow comes in contact with any wet part of the sock, the snow will wick it off, and then you'll find that in the extreme cold, big plaques will freeze to the surface of the outer sock, and the outer sock will often go hard like a boot. In which case, when you ask if your feet are damp or wet, you can't honestly say they are, and if you ask if your feet are cold, you can't honestly say that they are uncomfortable. They are in a state that is very tolerable, and you can go all day. It may be hard on your socks to be walking without protection on the sole, but this, which can be a serious emergency, becomes something pretty inconsequential because you know how to react.